We don't just learn that Eren changed, we watch him change, scene by scene, season by season. The boy who swore to protect humanity, becoming the man who decides to destroy most of it. And the most disturbing part isn't where he ends up, it's that you can see exactly how he got there. Every moment, every choice, every time he could have turned back and didn't. Let's start at the beginning, because to understand who Eren becomes, you have to understand who he was. He wasn't born angry, he wasn't born extreme, he was born hungry. Hungry to see the world, hungry to matter, hungry in that specific way that only children who feel caged are hungry. He grew up inside walls he never asked for, in a village that accepted those walls without question. And that drove him insane, not in a broken way, in a burning way. While other kids played, Eren was furious, at the walls, at the complacency, at the idea that this, just this, was all there was supposed to be. He had a friend named Armin who kept a forbidden book about the world beyond the walls, the ocean, mountains of ice, fields of sand, places that were supposed to be impossible. That book was Eren's religion. Freedom wasn't a concept to him. It was something physical, something he could almost taste, almost. And then, his mother died screaming his name while he couldn't move. He wasn't able to save her. He wasn't able to do anything. That is the wound that never closes. And everything that follows is Eren trying to answer that moment. The version of Eren that most people fell in love with is Season 1 Eren. Hot-headed, reckless, annoyingly idealistic. The kind of protagonist who bites his hand and screams his way through every problem. He wants to kill every Titan. He wants to join the Survey Corps. He wants to dedicate his heart and die for something bigger than himself. And you root for him. Not because he's wise, not because he's strategic, but because he means it. Every time Eren says he'll fight, you believe him. There's no calculation in it. There's no plan, just a boy with a hole in his chest where his mother used to be, throwing himself at the world that took her from him. This is what makes what comes later so devastating, because you have to remember this version of him. You have to hold this Eren in your mind as you watch the next one arrive. The first real crack in Eren doesn't come from a Titan, it comes from the truth. Layer by layer, Eren starts to learn that the world he was raised in was a lie. The government knew the truth about the Titans. The king had the power to stop all of it, and chose not to. People died. His mother died for a lie. Watch his face in those scenes. Not rage, not tears, silence. The kind of silence that happens when something breaks inside a person too quietly for anyone around them to notice. Eren always believed that if you fought hard enough, if you were strong enough, the right side would win. What do you do when you discover there is no right side? Only power. And who has it? And who it destroys? He doesn't answer that question yet. He keeps fighting. He keeps trusting his friends. He keeps telling himself that the enemy is still out there, still knowable, still defeatable, but something has shifted, and it won't shift back. Then comes the basement. This is the moment that splits Attack on Titan in half. Everything before the basement is one story, everything after is another. Inside that drawer under the false bottom is a photograph of a family, real people, real faces, from a world that was never supposed to exist. And on the back, a note from Eren Yeager. Humanity has not perished. The Survey Corps reached the ocean. They make it to the edge of the world Eren dreamed about. And he stands there, on that beach, and it's beautiful. But look at Eren's eyes. Not wonder, not relief, grief. Because the moment he sees the ocean, he also sees what's on the other side of it. More people, more hatred, more walls, just invisible ones. He says it himself, quietly. If we kill our enemies across the sea, will we finally be free? That sentence is not hope. That sentence is a man already doing the math. The boy who wanted to see the ocean arrived and immediately started counting how many people stood between him and freedom. That's the moment. Not the rumbling, not the founding Titan. That beach, that question, that's where Eren dies and someone else starts growing in his place. Then he disappears. 4 years pass, the show skips ahead, and when Eren comes back, he's not Eren, or he is. But a version of Eren you have to learn all over again. Longer hair, quieter voice. The fire is still there, but it's not burning outward anymore. It's burning inward. He infiltrates Marley alone. He sits in a restaurant in an enemy country with a child named Falco, who could be Armin if Armin had grown up on the other side. He is kind to that child. He is patient and gentle and warm. And then he helps start a war. This is what the time skip does so brilliantly. It refuses to let you hate Eren cleanly. It forces you to see his humanity and his calculation in the same frame. He is not a monster who lost his humanity. He is a human being who made peace with doing monstrous things. And that is so much worse. Here's where Attack on Titan does something almost no other story is willing to do. It asks, what if your protagonist could see the future? Not glimpses, not visions, the actual, literal future. Through the Attack Titan's power, Eren has been receiving memories of future events since he was a child. He saw the rumbling, he saw his own death, he saw everything, and he walked into it anyway. And this is the question that will haunt you long after the credits roll. Did he have a choice? The bootstrap paradox at the heart of AOT's ending is genuinely brilliant and genuinely infuriating. Eren did the rumbling because he saw the rumbling. He saw it because he did it. The cause and the effect eat each other. Was Eren the author of his own destruction? Or was he always just the character that the story needed him to be? He says to Armin in the Paths, I don't know when it happened, I just kept moving forward. For a boy who screamed at the world because he refused to be a slave to it, what a devastating thing to admit. The freest man in the story might have been the least free of all. And then it happens. The world shakes, millions of colossal titans, marching, civilizations, gone in hours, people who had never touched paradise, people who had never hated a single Eldian, children. Eren Yeager does this. Not a monster, not a god, a 20-year-old boy from Shiganshina who used to cry because he couldn't save his mother. The show does not flinch from it. It doesn't soften it. It doesn't cut away. You watch it happen, and you're supposed to feel every second of it because you spent 4 seasons inside this man's head. You know his grief. You know his rage. You know the beach. You know the basement. And none of it makes this okay, and all of it makes it understandable. That is the tightrope Isayama walks perfectly. Not a defense of the rumbling, but a complete, merciless accounting of how a human being gets there. There's a scene near the end. Eren and Armin in the Paths, and Eren, the man who has been iced for 3 seasons, breaks. He admits he didn't want this. He admits he wanted to live. He wanted Mikasa to move on. He wanted his friends to live as heroes, to be the ones who stopped the monster. Him, he engineered his own defeat. He orchestrated the war so that his friends would be the ones to end it. Because the world would never forgive Paradise unless someone could say, we stopped him. Whether you find that heroic or self-serving or manipulative or tragic or all 4, it's completely, agonizingly human. This is not a man who became evil. This is a man who decided that the only currency the world understood was destruction and paid every price he had to buy his people one more generation. And it still didn't last. Eren asked himself a question. What would I have to become to make sure the people I love can outlive me? And then he became it. He changed. He had reasons. He was shaped by systems that asked too much of them long before they ever made a choice. But what separates Eren is the scale of the self-awareness. He knew what he was doing. He planned for the people who loved him to be the ones to kill him. He never asked anyone to understand. He never even asked anyone to forgive him. He just said, I'm going to walk forward. And he did. Until Mikasa held his head in her hands and said goodbye. And somewhere in the Paths, maybe, the boy on the roof with Armin finally got to rest. That's Eren Yeager, not a hero, not a villain. A warning about what freedom looks like when someone is willing to pay any price for it. And the most disturbing thing about him, the thing that keeps me up, is that when he was 9 years old, watching his mother get eaten, unable to move, I understand exactly how he got from there to here. That's what great writing does. Drop a comment. Tell me where you think Eren stopped being Eren. Was it the basement, the ocean, Marley, the Paths? I write a newsletter where I go even deeper on stuff like this. Real psychology concepts, anime breakdowns, and things that didn't make the cut for the video. Link is in the description. It's free. Check it out. If you like this breakdown, the next video goes even deeper. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I'll see you there.